Hello, Monica. Hello, Germany. And hello, Europe. Well, it's really my pleasure to be here. This is the first time I've ever been in Munich, and I have to say the reception from the people here has been outstanding, and the products and the synergy of the science behind what Jeunesse has created, you're going to learn more and more about. And as I talk more about the ZEN Bodi system, I think what you're going to see is the real science behind this program and how it's been designed. You know, I was the first board-certified anti-aging physician in the world, and that goes back 20 years ago. And you know, over these 20 years, I've had personalized, if you will, health or anti-aging programs for very, very elite, select people. The exact same science that's designed behind the ZEN system is exactly what I was using for years. But what we've been able to do at Jeunesse is bring that science down to an easy system for everyone to be able to use without the need of a physician monitoring things. So it's with my pleasure that I can not only explain the system and science behind this, but really start to show you, and we're going to show you 2 examples of how this system works in people who are over 60 and in people who are young. So if any of you think it's too late to transform your body, you're wrong. If you think it's too young and you don't have the information or the willpower to do it, you're wrong. Because with this system, both of these groups, both of the groups of people that we see in Jeunesse and are part of Jeunesse have proved that this works. So with that, I think we'll get started. Okay, so the ZEN Bodi system. The ZEN Bodi system is a series of products that really, really compensate for the aging process that occurs in every human being. Now, I have 2 medical textbooks that physicians use to train. I have 6 other books out on Amazon.com for the general layperson to try to understand this. And I'm going to explain to you one of the most obvious signs of aging that's changes in our body composition in just a few minutes. And so with that, we'll get started. What is the ZEN Bodi system? It is a way of overcoming the aging process that occurs in every one of us, no matter how old you are, by understanding how to manipulate key hormones and the new science behind these natural occurring compounds that can do this. Okay. So it actually addresses the root cause of why our metabolism changes as we age and our bodies change. And it's going to give you the tools, not only for yourself, but to explain to the people you present this program to, how they can dramatically change their life. And I want to make a comment. This is not about just looking good, okay, and fitting in your clothes. The ZEN Bodi system, by doing what it does, by altering the ratio of body fat and muscle mass, is going to improve your blood pressure. It's going to improve your cholesterol levels. It's going to improve your mood. And in essence, it's going to make you a younger you. Okay? So I want to show a few examples of what's happened with time with people who really don't know what Jeunesse knows. Now, we're all familiar with James Bond about 18 years ago. And unfortunately, Pierce Bronson did not have the Jeunesse system, nor did he come to see me, and he should have. So here's what happens with the aging process, okay? He's trying harder now. I did speak to him recently, he's trying harder. Captain Kirk, for those of you who go back a little bit further. Now, this guy was traveling the universe, fighting all types of aliens, and he had to be in shape. Today, unfortunately, he's on the beach, and he also did not have the secrets to what we're going to show you now. So what I'm trying to show you is, even though you might be some of the most famous people in the world, you might have all the money you could possibly have, without the science behind Jeunesse, that's where you're going to end up. And we don't want you to be there, okay? So the myth about weight loss programs and diets, the secrets of what we've searched for, we really have the answers now, okay? And again, going back to what's in my fancy medical textbooks and even some of the books for the public, it was a little difficult even then to explain, but I think we have it down. So what happens as we age is, you know, there's quite a few young people in the crowd here. And if you take a look at these young people, we're all walking by and go, gee, look how nice and slim and fit they are. I wonder why. And you know, those of us who are in their 50s or maybe their 60s or older, we go to the gym, we really try, we watch what we eat, and we don't seem to get the benefit that we used to get out of this. I'm going to explain to you why we don't and how you can fix that. Okay? So here's basically what's happened with diets over the past 30 years. Okay, and I have had the opportunities to know very well and have as a colleague Dr. Atkins, a number of other very famous diet doctors who said to me, you know, Vincent, my diet really works. Okay, and when people are on our diet, they lose weight. And my comment used to be, and as soon as they get off your diet, they gain back that weight. So what was happening with that was, if you are a person, and this special x-ray shows the body fat on your skeleton. So basically all standard diets in the past, until now, would have you cut your calories, do some exercise, decrease the quantity of foods you eat. But basically here's what happened. You became a smaller, skinnier, a smaller fat person. So your ratio of body fat and muscle mass didn't change, okay? But what you really did is became a small fat person. Now we don't want you to lose muscle mass and body fat. In fact, we want you to gain muscle mass and we want you to lose body fat together, because that's the secret, okay? And if you look at people, for instance, who exercise regularly and are young, you look at the young people walking around today, you're going to see they have a little bit of body fat, they're much more toned, and that's because of their hormones. Okay. So today's diets fail because they do just that, okay? And they don't understand the science behind this phenomenal product. So what happens is, if you look at young people or you look at somebody who's been on a medically directed hormonal dietary program, or somebody who has been on Jeunesse program, here's what you would see. You'd see the same person going from this to this, and what you see is loss of body fat. You see increased muscle mass, okay? And along with that, aside from the appearance, if you looked at their chemistries, you would see drops in triglycerides, drops in cholesterol, drops in blood sugar, drops in inflammation, and all the markers we look at, CRP, the interleukin markers, all these fancy things. So this is not just a dietary or weight management program to make you look better. It's a program to help you age better, stay healthier longer. So you really need to understand the value of what this program brings you, not just a cosmetic appeal, but enhanced health. Okay? So how do we get there and maintain it, and what are the causes in the first place? Okay, let's go into a little bit of a simplified kind of hormonal explanation and lecture. So basically, this program is not about losing pounds, but it's about losing inches in the right place. And what happens to just about virtually everybody, they'll say, you know, gee, you know, I may have lost 4 or 5 pounds, but all my clothes fit better. My pants aren't so tight. My jackets fit tighter, or in my dresses, I just look better. I have more of a waistline. That's what you begin to see when you change your body composition. More muscle, less body fat. Okay, so if we go back to the causes of what happens to us year by year, the most common cause is we start to increase inflammation in our body. Okay? And everybody knows as they get up in the morning, they start to get a little more achy, their joints might ache a little bit. You feel like, gee, you know, this is something new. I really don't recall feeling this way, and year by year it gets a little worse. So let me tell you what the secret is. As you gain body fat, okay, you do not grow new fat cells. Okay, so this is a misnomer. So basically, when you're 18, 19, you might have 500 million fat cells. But as you age, each one of those fat cells gets bigger as you gain weight. And as it gets bigger and bigger, and as your blood sugar starts to go up, because you're getting certain other changes cause that blood sugar to go up aside from being lazy and eating the wrong foods, that big fat cell starts to produce compounds it didn't produce before. And I'm going to explain to you how those compounds, each one of your fat cells, are the cause of this. Okay? So the inflammation leads to an inhibition, or if you will, a coating of a special hormone that's also produced in those fat cells. So the fat cells really produce a compound called leptin, okay? Another compound called adiponectin, another compound that actually causes you to gain fat, that's G3DPH, which we're going to talk about, and I'll show you how to remember all these things. But it produces a group of hormones. When it's small and young, it doesn't produce the bad ones, it only produces the good ones. When you get older and gain fat in your body and that cell grows, it starts to produce bad compounds. So in essence, every one of the fat cells in your body is a little micro-pharmacy that you have to learn to control. Okay? So inflammation, okay? This leads to loss of muscle. It leads to a slower metabolism, and just as a comment, 5 pounds of muscle burns 250 calories a day, even if you're sitting. So what do bodybuilders know? The more muscle they have, they build muscle, they burn more calories, and they stay slimmer, okay? If your muscle mass starts to deteriorate, your posture, you start to stoop, your legs hurt, you don't have any energy, the stability, this is why older people, as they walk, you'll see them kind of go like this. They've lost the muscle tone to keep their legs and posture up. If your posture goes out, you start having back pain and pain shooting down the back of your legs, okay? And as you get older, it's harder to build muscle even if you exercise, and we're going to show you how to compensate for that. So inflammation is one of the root causes of all these things, okay? Besides in general inflammation, what else causes you to gain body fat and upset the ideal hormonal balance? Well, here's the thing. Sugar, okay? Anything that's pretty much white, and I hate to say this because we all love this, vanilla ice cream, pasta. Are the Italians here? Okay. I'll explain to you how we can eat pasta and still actually lose weight in a minute. Okay, anything that's white, potatoes. You look at white, you know you're going to gain body fat. Keep that in mind. The other thing is having too much fat on the body, especially in the gut. Injuries that don't allow you to move, and there's an excuse, gee, I hurt my knee, I really can't get out there and walk. Processed foods, white flours, we talked about that. Trans fats or partially hydrogenated fats. If you start looking at the labels of the food you buy, and you see this, partially hydrogenated fat, put it down. Okay, stress. Anybody in this audience has zero stress in their life? Any hands? Okay, there's the answer to that. Lack of sleep. Now, I'm going to mention a couple of things that are really important. If you don't sleep enough, your body cannot repair the cells that have been used during the day and damaged during the day through the normal process of aging. And if you think you're going to get away with 2 or 3 hours of sleep or 4 or 5, you will age quicker and you will stay fat. Okay? Lack of movement. We all need to exercise. Gluten allergies are a very big topic. If you have a gluten allergy, it's something you should do to basically really try to avoid gluten foods. Why? If you have a gluten allergy, your inflammatory levels are 2 to 3 times higher than someone who isn't, and we saw what inflammation does. Foods that have been genetically modified, we don't know what the hell they're going to do. And we don't know 5, 10 years from now what those genetically modified genes in the food you're eating is going to do to you. I would strongly suggest you stay away from them. So, the body reshaping and youth enhancement, the first thing we want to do is start to enhance our muscle gain, okay? The more muscle you have, the more fat you burn, and the lower your blood sugar stays. So minimizing muscle loss or gaining muscle has been really one of the focuses of the ZEN Bodi Fit. So let me just take a moment to explain to you what's happening to everybody in this audience who's 40 and over. Okay. As we age, our intestines, which are one of our most... Who's 40 and over? It's like the majority. Okay, I'm in that category too, so don't worry. And I fixed it. Now, I'll show you how I fixed it for me. And I'll tell you how we can fix it for you. See, as you age, your intestines age quicker. Okay, so when you eat food, when the people are here in their 20s, 30s, if you put in 20 grams of protein, your intestines have the digestive enzymes, the probiotics, the bacteria that are normal bacteria to take that protein and turn it into the tiny little pieces of building blocks your body needs to make muscle, to make hormones.